In just over 5 minutes' time. Looking forward to that. Leading the news, the weather. It may be nearly April, but it's calm how the weather is affecting you. Or you can send them by your telephone, 84501. You can twit pick us at Eamon Holmes, at Sky Charlotte. Keep those coming in. And how are you doing on that front, Charlotte, this morning?
Well, I've had quite a few from people saying that they've got lovely weather, actually, which is
in Britain?
Nice for everybody else. Yes, we've got Peter saying sunshine and calm and dry in Whitley Bay. And then he sent me another email saying, honestly, it's lovely in Whitley Bay. I don't know if he works for the Whitley Bay Tourist Board or anything. Lorraine in Castlemaine says there's no snow here in Kerry, only a slight scattering on the mountains. And our Sydney says that we were lucky where he is in Scotland. He said no snow despite the Met Office red warning, but he says there is today to come yet. So some people are thinking that they might get it later on.
Even where we are, it's like Arctic conditions,
isn't it? It is cold and very rainy as well, which is
except
very
it's not
pleasant.
snowing, it's wet and a bit windy, but it's not what you'd expect. Right, Graham with the newspapers, and we're talking goldfish, an horrendous story. Not of goldfish cruelty, but of cruelty to a woman who sold goldfish, really, we think, after this from Charlotte.
And Ofcom has ruled that Sky Sports 1 and 2 must be offered to other broadcasters at a wholesale price set by the broadcasting regulator. Sky.
And we stay with animals for the lead story with Graham Poll and his newspaper review this morning. Good to see you.
From 7 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning. Can't leave her home. That's in replacement of some community service. This 66-year-old...
What is the point? What is the point which talks about legislation, European legislation, and the amount of legislation the government has passed where basically that is the law and the law has to be carried out? You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen that.
But you say that, and yet, you know, we look at things like the temperature we must keep our cheese at, and yet you go to France.
Linda, thanks very much for your email, and she says we have allowed lawyer politicians to substitute UK heritage with all its sound society values for the law. The law should not be used to form our values, but we have let it happen. And it is quite interesting what politicians have allowed to happen. Ridiculous for this woman, ridiculous. We can't see how that's cruelty. I mean, especially it's very difficult for somebody like me because when I was young, you saved up your...
And finally, hopefully, there's a possibility of putting an end to this by getting some closure at least.
I think about this young girl and her family every day. I pass this train station, this very place where she was abducted, every day, and just so tragic. A better story now, and a young lad, as you were. Who were your role models? Florence Nightingale?
Well, now I can't really think now, but there was very much less the celebrity culture than there is now. I think that's changed completely. But I guess the real thing is that a lot of these celebrities probably are Mr. and Mrs. Ordinary when they're at home, aren't they? But their sort of public persona is that they are extraordinary. So.
Yeah, but you're seeing to be somebody or to aspire, saying is we've got to turn these values around, that maybe a bit of work and study and...
Okay, Moscow in the Champions League. So let's hope he has no complaints about Howard. Because...
Thank you very much indeed, Graham. Lovely to see you. Angela Harvey and family in Portugal have just emailed us. Lovely to see you as well. Thank you very much indeed. Top stories up to speed as to what the latest situation is. Things getting better or worse, Lucy?
Today they're getting worse before they get better. So we're seeing the worst of the weather today, the most severe conditions today, feeling more like winter rather than spring. Obviously, we've got April around the corner tomorrow. Strong gusty winds, very strong winds out there, gales for a time. Biting, chilly winds, so a significant wind chill enhancing the coldness, and then significant snow falling across Scotland, Ireland, the higher ground of northern England and Wales today.
Where's this coming from? Is this coming from the west or the east?
It's sort of cold air that's plunging down from the north and getting sort of swept in within our weather system. So if the air hadn't been so cold today, we would have seen rain everywhere. But the north-easterly wind is pulling in much colder air from Scandinavia and northern areas of the North Atlantic, and with those strong winds there'll be blizzards and drifting snow, maybe another 8 inches of snow falling today, so some very severe conditions. Probably some disruption to transport, more than likely, especially by road and by rail, and probably damage to infrastructure and some power cuts. Already we've seen those effects across Ireland overnight.
Of course. Thanks, Lucy. Thank you very much indeed. But you reckon clearing up by the weekend?
Yes, things getting better after today.
OK. Just a bit more now with those details.
Thanks, Eamon. Ofcom has ruled that Sky Sports 1 and 2 must be offered to other broadcasters at a wholesale price set by the broadcasting regulator. Sky B, which is the company that owns and runs...
It is. Though plain chocolate doesn't do it for me.
Oh no, any chocolate.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Really? No, it has to be milk for me. Front pages of the papers, daily.
Hello again. Well, it's nearly as cold for us as it is across the Baltic area today. Temperatures as low as just 3 or 4 degrees. Significant snow falling across much of northern Britain and higher ground of the north and the west. For the remainder of Europe, relatively mild from central parts of France and Germany southwards. Temperatures into double figures. It will be disappointingly dull with plenty of cloud through the bulk of the continent, showers and longer pulses of rain, but further south a better chance of some spring-like sunshine. The best of the temperatures out in the east across Greece.
The rundown of what else is happening.
Thanks very much, Eamon. Ofcom has ruled that Sky Sports 1 and 2 must be offered to other broadcasters at a wholesale price set by the broadcasting regulator.
Now on that Ofcom. Here to talk about that is Dave Cahoon. Dave is a film critic from Time Out magazine. Good to see you, Dave.
Morning.
Before I get your perspective, I've assembled 2 ordinary housewives who have viewed that trailer there. I like watching trailers because you sort of think, you know, would I go and see that? Would I not? What do you think?
Yes, I'm going to go and see it. I like Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
Is this the film where she snogs Justin Timberlake? No, that's a different film.
No. I guess the big question is, does she snog Tom Cruise?
Oh, yeah, I
the
suppose
trailer
it
doesn't
is.
give away whether there's any romantic connection with
There probably is, isn't there?
But they probably could be the
Yeah.
same films, and they probably could all have Jennifer Aniston in them as well, couldn't they? There's a sort of formula to these things, isn't there, Dave?
There is. I mean, the big question here, I think, as you can see from the trailer, is, you know, can Tom Cruise...
Tried to be funny. What was that called, where he dressed up as a TV
I
executive?
thought that was quite good. That was
Tropic of Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
Yes, I thought that he was funny in that. I thought
so.
it was good to see the funny side of him, so I think this might be good from that point of view.
I'm surprised you find that funny. I thought
Is there a funny side of
I
him?
thought he played a very crude, rude character, Charlotte. I didn't think you would laugh at that. Yeah.
Well, you know, it was funny seeing him do that kind of role, though. I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you see someone you don't expect doing that kind of...
Himself as an action hero, can he then go back to be an action hero to be on this summer?
Well, as ever, it's a big summer. There's Toy Story...
And so wait a minute, that was Toy Story 3 and...
Shrek 4.
And Shrek, yeah.
There's also a film of the A-Team as well.
Oh, the A-Team.
Coming out. None of the original actors, but...
Yes. So who's going to be B.A. Baracus and all that? Who's by the weather situation? Dave Cahoon, thank you very much indeed. Charlotte, on the email situation?
Yeah, we asked for pictures of the weather where you are. Damien Devenny sent in a picture. He said this is after the main road closure on the Coleraine Mountain. Hopefully we can see it now. He said 60 cars were stuck on the road where the snow was, and it was 12 inches plus there. I can't see that one, but we've got the next one. These are even better. 2 smug viewers watched from abroad, and they sent these in. This is from Di Wyatt, who...
That'll make us all feel very good. Jackie, what's the situation with Wayne Rooney?
Well, they've got to come back today.